What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So, I understand that Kevin Durant is running his mouth again. You know, now that he got himself another super team, now the mouth is running. You know, he does this periodically. We didn't really hear much of that mouth when he was averaging 6 turnovers a game against the Boston Celtics in the playoffs the other year, right? When you got swept. Well, now you got yourself another little supposed super team, and at least offensively, and now he's talking trash to people who's criticizing him and say anything about him he don't like. So apparently he came at low, legend of winning, saying things, you know, people who ain't play basketball or who he say aren't great at anything in life have the audacity to judge people like him who, you know, by the way, KD calls himself a god. God. You know, that already is something that turns me off about the guy. You know, to be honest with you, even though he's a lot more low-key than LeBron, is there much difference between the two? You know, a guy that calls himself a god has to be at least narcissistic, if not a downright megalomaniac. Okay, so you can play basketball at a very, very high level. You can. And no one can take that away from you. And you make millions of dollars playing basketball. But obviously, that's not enough for you because you feel the need to go around trolling people. The ordinary people that you call, these so-called ordinary people who ain't accomplished nothing are the same ones that go to these fucking games and watch you spoiled, brattish, overpaid, numbskull, beyond basketball-minded nitwits attempt to play basketball. Which, by the way, is so watered down and stupefying to watch. You guys don't run no goddamn plays. You don't play no defense. And all you do is hoist up 40 to 53 pointers per game, per team, and basically whoever makes the most threes win. Yeah, that's real grade A championship basketball. That's that AAU hierarchy basketball. But anyway, I want to focus on something that he said in this article. How y'all consume the game is trash. How y'all even look at the game is whack as fuck. Talking about today's fans. You factor in team success when you talk about players. I just think how y'all consume the game is trash. Are you good or not? Some things can be that simple. A lot of people have seen it for a long time. It's okay. These lists mean nothing anyway. Well, let me tell you something. If team success is not important to you or was never important to you, then why the fuck did you leave OKC? I mean, because when you were playing in OKC, if you're talking about individual success, you were a league MVP. You won multiple, 4 scoring titles playing in OKC. You routinely went to the playoffs every year. You even went to an NBA Finals as a very young team in 2012. Hell, when I think about it, you're one of the hardest outs at an A seed ever in 2010 when y'all played the Lakers. Weren't y'all the A seed in 2010? That's a hell of an A seed. Durant, Russell Westbrook, and a young James Harden. So individually, you're one of the best players in the NBA. So why did you leave? Because you felt that playing on that team, you did not have an optimum chance at winning it all. Even though you guys had the Warriors down 3-1. So people forget about that. People always talk about how, in 2016, the finals, LeBron and the Cavaliers came back from the 3-1 deficit against the Warriors. But the Warriors, in turn, before that, came back from a 3-1 deficit against the Thunder. So the Thunder were indeed capable of beating that Warriors team. They were not this juggernaut that their record suggests. They were beatable. But you left. You went to Golden State. Then you won 2 championships in a row. And hell, had you not gotten hurt in 2019, and you guys may have well have three-peated. I think it's a 60-40 chance, 65-35 chance that you would have three-peated. Because I do recall that Toronto had injuries as well. So if it was about team success, which you had a lot of, winning 2 championships, 2 finals MVPs, then why did you leave Golden State? Because you knew in your heart that A, no matter how many championships you hoisted, Golden State would never love you like they did Steph Curry or even Draymond Green or Clay. Because you were not part of that home blood. You were a free agent signing. You were an outsider. They appreciate your efforts in helping them win a championship. But what did Draymond call you? What was that word? I'm not even going to say it on here, but it rhymes with which. It begins with a B. And he said that we were winning before you got here and we'll win after you got here. After you leave, excuse me, which ultimately they did do. So, along with the media pressure, because they were trying to break up that team so that LeBron, who they know was going to go to the West, they wanted to break up the Warriors so LeBron would have a more optimum chance at winning and going to the finals, at least, the media, which you acquiesced to because they put the pressure on you. Oh, you got to win on your own. And you fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. And you teamed up with Kyrie, and you went to Brooklyn, and you thought you had a super team. And you had a really good squad there at one point. You had a really good balanced squad, but you got greedy, and you went and tried to get James Harden, who didn't really want to be there because he really wanted to play in Philly, but hey, he landed there. And it didn't work out. Didn't work out. Injuries, issues with management, chemistry issues, distractions, scandals, whatever. You asked for a trade. Now you with Phoenix. Now reports come out that you went to management and wanted Bradley Beal there. Why? Because you want to try to build another super team. Because you want to win. So why do you go to people who talk in sports and act like championships don't matter? We got common enough sense, at least most of us know, that you got to balance the equation. Yeah, you can't look at rings in a totality and say that's all that matters. If that's the case, Bill Russell's the GOAT. We know he's not the GOAT. But ultimately, every season, when all 29 teams convene for the season, or 30 teams, excuse me, when all 30 teams convene for the season, at the end of the day, the ultimate goal, even though it's not a reasonable goal for some teams, they want to win a championship. That's what it's all about. And it is a team achievement. And you have to factor that in. But when you're a great player and you have multiple championships, I'm sorry, it does add to the luster of your greatness. Period. That's always been the case. It's not something that just started. There ain't something that just started like 20 years ago. You look at the top 10 players in the history of the NBA that's been consistent for the last 30 to 40 years, and you see championships. Larry Bird, championships. Magic Johnson, championships. Will Chamberlain, who didn't win as much as people thought he should, but he still won 2 championships. Kobe, championships. Jordan, championships. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, championships. Olajuwon, championships. So what in the world are you talking about? What it is that you want people to look at you as on the same level as LeBron. That's what it is. I'm going to tell you the truth. The reason why people have you ranked beneath LeBron James is because what you did is even worse, bro. LeBron conspired to go to Miami. That's true. With Wade and Bosh. But when he went to Miami in 2010, they were like a 8th seed, 7th seed. They were a low seed. When you join the Warriors, bro, they just left an NBA Finals. They had just barely lost a championship. The equivalency of that would be, to be honest with you, when I think about it, this would be the equivalency. The equivalency of you going to the Warriors would be Reggie Miller joining the Knicks after the Knicks barely lost to the Rockets in the 94 Finals. How do you think the Pacers would have looked at Reggie if he did that? How do you think the NBA family, players, how do you think the fans would have looked at Reggie if he did something like that? You joined the enemy, bro? Why? We can beat them. Because he wants the optimum. He wants to win. He wants to win a championship. That's fine. If he's a free agent, he can do that. That's fine. But when he won a championship in 95 with them, with this super Knick team, nobody was going to give him credit for it. And that's how people look at Kevin Durant, which is even more so because he's even greater than Reggie Miller. And the Warriors team is even more dominant than the Knicks team. So it's even worse. You can't win unless you're on a super team. Period. You can't win. That seems to be the case. I guarantee you, if you put LeBron on the Brooklyn Nets, a prime LeBron, they would have at least got to the finals. And you guys know I'm not fond of LeBron. But he would have been on that team, and he would have took them at the very least to the conference finals. And you know I'm telling the truth. If LeBron was on the Phoenix Suns last year, prime, 34 years old, or at least 35, he would have took them to the conference finals. Quite honestly, think about this. Think about a team with LeBron James, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and DeAndre Ayton, and LeBron from 4 or 5 years ago on that team. Wouldn't you give them a more than fighting chance to beat the Denver Nuggets? He's better than you. Period. I don't care about your points and your sweet jumper and on your stats, your analytics stats. I don't give a fuck about any of that shit. All I know is when the deck is not stacked in this dude's favor, he fucking loses. Time and time and time again. And he's going to lose again this year. And the Durant fans going to come with some excuse. He's going to lose again this year. So anyway, that's all I got to say about it.